I am a 20 years old video editor and a engineering student from Pakistan, and I have been working with John for almost 7 to 8 months as his main video editor. In 2013 and to 2015 almost, YouTube was banned in Pakistan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Walk to Wealth podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube or any of the podcast directories, make sure to do yourself one teeny tiny little favor and make sure to give us a follow because I don't want you to miss out on any of the amazing guests I got coming on this year. Without further ado, I got a special episode today. I got a special guest. So this guest, for those of you guys who don't know, is actually my video editor. So I met Ahsan almost. It's been like 8 months now. We met each other back in December of 2023, right before the New Year's. I was planning a launch and he started helping me out with content. And then in January, he became my main editor. And then since then, I've only been working with him for the past about 8 months now. So usually editors are behind the scenes, but he's also super young and he's into entrepreneurship. So it's perfect for the show. So, Essence, for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to get to know you or to get to meet you, tell us your little elevator pitch. Who are you and what do you do?
Hey guys, my name is Ahsan. I am a 20 years old video editor and a engineering student from Pakistan, and I have been working with John for almost 7 to 8 months as his main video editor. And yeah, so I think that's all about me.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So take us back in the time machine. What was little Essen like? What was it like growing up in Pakistan? What was it like growing up in your household over there? Because I know it's very different than life out here in the West. The U.S. is a very different country. Like a lot of principles, cultural, like it's very different. So like, what was it like growing up over on your side of the world? And remind us again, how far, in terms of like, how many hours ahead are you, so that people get an idea as to like how far away you actually are.
I think there is like a 12-hour time difference between USA and Pakistan, like somewhere between 8 to
Sheesh.
12 hours, I think so. And yeah, growing up in Pakistan was like really weird if you consider the life outside because you know uh, during like in 2013 and to 2015 almost, YouTube was banned in Pakistan, and there were a lot of limitations. Even still, right now, Twitter is banned in Pakistan, so there are really a lot of limitations when it comes to like knowledge online and yeah, even working online. There is no, I'll say, help from the government. Like there is no PayPal and stuff like that. So it was really limited. But like a young Aisin was really concerned about the creativity. So our uh, I don't know if I can say this, but our torrent softwares, can I say this? Yeah, so our torrent
Yeah,
video
you can
editing
say whatever. Yeah,
softwares and try to figure some things out. So yeah, that's how I got into video editing. Basically, I was recording this movie with my friends, and we had a lot of different clips. So then we were like, how can we compile these clips into one video? So that's how I
yeah,
found out about video editors and video converters and stuff like that. So that's where the journey actually started.
yeah. Amazing. So that was that like kind of like, was that your first business as well, or like did you have like other business ideas that you did outside of that? Like, was video editing the first gig that you ever did, or were you doing other stuff? Like what? And
Vid-
also too, like
vid-
what is entrepreneurship like out there? Because I know out here it's starting to become a lot more popular. Like it's like everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to start their own business, be their own boss. What was like the culture like around entrepreneurship out there? And yeah,
so basically, yeah, video editing was my first gig. I actually thought I'd land some photo editing or like banner design type gig, but like thankfully I was able to land a video editing gig, which led me to this job, which I'm currently doing. And entrepreneurship here in Pakistan is really different, like because only the elites can do it. S- a middle, let's say, is An average student, average person cannot pursue this entrepreneurship because even if he can, it is just the side hustle aspect of it because there are a lot of expectations from us. Like as I told you once that I'm an engineering student, but I had no say in it. This is the whole story of about like every other Pakistani boy my age. So it is limiting, but there are a few businesses that are like going well. Basically, what students do if they are trying to pursue entrepreneurship is they'll find this idea, they'll go to Instagram, build an idea, like build a better profile, make some content, and then they'll start to sell. And there are a few businesses that are booming here, but if you consider entrepreneurship in Pakistan compared to like outside, no, there's like literally nothing.
Yeah. So then let me ask you, so like knowing that, like what made you decide to get into entrepreneurship? Because as I said, out here, like there's a lot of help, a lot of resources, a lot more people that are doing it. So as I said, it's becoming like a lot more normalized, right? A lot of people want to become entrepreneurs. So out there where like the average person really doesn't have much chance of like, yeah, they can maybe start it, but they don't really have any chance of succeeding at it big time, let alone, think of like trying to use that as their main source of income or as their their main source of like providing for their family or whatever, because as I said, a lot of people out there do it for a side hustle. So like for you, despite knowing that, what made you want to do it anyways? Like what made you want to even give it a try? Because I said the money isn't there, like for the average person, and the government isn't helping the average person. So like what made you want to do entrepreneurship?
Actually, I think entrepreneurship is a really risky side if you pursue it full time. Now, if you like consider my story, I am doing an engineering degree and it's going really well. So I have a backup. If I fail, I have something to fall back on. So if I have like something to fall back on, I eventually can spend my free time on something which I'm passionate about. And regardless of if either it succeeds or not, I like it doesn't really matter. At least I gave it a try.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that having that mindset of like I'd rather not have any regrets and see where it takes me, I think definitely goes a long way. A lot of people is like they let all the fear kind of get in the way, and it's like for me, I'm more scared of not trying than I am of trying. Because if I try, the worst case that happen, I fail, I don't make any money, I waste some time maybe, but like if I succeed, well, then who knows where I could take it? Who knows how big it can grow? Who knows how big it can get? And so let me ask you. So, right, when you were just getting into entrepreneurship, as you said, starting a business online is not the same out there as it is out here. So, like, how do you get into like starting your business? How do you find out about Upwork? How do you get into like the freelancing side of things? Like, how do you figure that information out? What do you have to look up? Do you have to read books? Do you have to go on YouTube? Like, how do you find out about that?
So the thing is that I almost always knew how to edit videos because I have been doing this for like 8 years now. Uh,
Yeah.
so there was no learning curve that I had to go into. So there was this friend of mine who told me about Upwork. I already knew it, but I was not like I didn't have the information necessary to like get it to work. So he told me about this site Upwork, and he told me like you can make your portfolio and you can apply and this is stuff. So I listened to whatever he said. I gave it my all, and like I think after like 3 to 4 days of starting, I had like my first gig. And if you compare, although it was just a $90 gig, if you compare $90 into Pakistani rupee, and if you compare the average like salary of a Pakistani man, you realize that earning in dollars or earning in any foreign currency is really really good. So that's that's how I got started into freelancing stuff.
Okay, so you got that first client within the first few days, and once that like you got that money, like what was the original thoughts that like what was going through your head like when you seen that client book you and you finally got paid that money? What was going through your head?
Yeah, so I was. I was really confused. I was really like, man, this can work out. Even in your job, we discussed that, yeah, we'll start working in January and stuff, and this will be your salary. Although we were in contact, I was still, this thought was still at the back of my mind that, no, this can't be real. Like, this is way too much. Like, for some reason, everything is going in the right direction. So I was really skeptical at first, but eventually things got started, and yeah, like things are going great right now.
Yeah, so let me ask you. So take us to that time. So I was what, your third client?
Yeah, you were my third client.
So the first person you said you got paid $90 within the first couple days of getting, and then how long did it take to get your second client?
Okay, so basically, there is this currency we use on Upwork. It is used to boost
Yeah.
our like job requests. You know about that, right? So the thing is, I
Mm-hmm.
ran out of connects, and I was actually living in my dorm, so I couldn't like spend this much amount on connect. So I was like, yeah, I'll just wait for like 10 connects to pop into my account and stuff. So my first semester of university, before going to the university, I had my first job. And during the finals of my first semester, I found your job. In between those 4.5 months, I had just one job, that one time gig. That's all.
Okay, so you had that first client, and then you went a couple months with nothing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sheesh. All right. And then when I came around, you said you felt skeptical at first. Like, talk to us about like when I finally came in, because I mentioned, and I think you probably edited the actual episode when I talked about my launch, but like around the time period, right?
Yeah.
And you know this because I think I probably told you when we first started off, but I was in Guatemala, which is another country, right? I was in Guatemala with my family on vacation while I was planning with my launch, and the second editor that I hired, he was from Bangladesh. He already had a couple other clients that he was working with, plus a full time job. Mind you, as you know from editing my content, I have a lot of content that I'm editing every single week. So it's like
Yeah.
he tried to do his full time job, plus manage his other two clients, plus all the stuff that I was asking you to do, right? And so in my head, I had a feeling like, yeah, I know he's not going to be able to keep up with the workload, but I want to give him a shot anyways because I liked his content that he edited, and he was a good dude. But it's like I knew in the back of my mind, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't really work with him. Not because he's a bad editor, just that he's not gonna be able to handle all the workload. Right? He already has a lot on his plate. It would be different if he quit his job, but he was still trying to keep his job, plus, do all the stuff that he's doing with the other
Yeah.
clients, plus my stuff. And so by the time I came back from Guatemala. This is about the last week of December. Yeah, I came back the 26th of December, right after Christmas, here in the States. And so I came back, and I'm like, all right. At that point, I think I had already put up another job post on Upwork. So for anyone that doesn't know, that's the context. That's like right around the time, right before me and Essen met. So now on your side of the story, what like take us through like back to that point in time when we first met and you were going through my job post.
Okay, so basically, you invited me to like apply on your job.
Oh, I
So
did. Yeah, I
basically,
did.
if you like post a job letter on Upwork, you get a few recommendations from Upwork that these freelancers are doing the same stuff. So you can request them, and they won't be using any of the connects. Like they can apply on your job for free. That's what happened with me. I initially like edited. A demo video for you, but you went with another editor. This was, I think, back in November, I think somewhere around that time. But eventually, you told me that you went along with another editor, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. So I think a few weeks passed by, and then you DM'd me that, hey, are you still looking for a job? And I was like, yeah. So, and that is how things got started.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because that's when I picked the second editor that I was working with.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Boom. And so now then we started working together. and I already kind of had like a system going through. So like working together kind of went pretty streamlined. We started off with a couple reels, and then from there, within like a week or two, like within like 2 weeks, we are pretty much going, um, and got pretty
Yeah,
consistently
one
after
week.
that. Yeah, within like a week, yeah. And so like then we agreed to a salary, and then we started working consistently, and you were getting paid every almost twice a month on the 15th and the first. And talk to us from there, because now this is what your second semester. That this past semester just was your second, right?
Yeah.
So you're in
So
your second
the thing is,
semester, and you're in school studying, and also working with me editing videos. What was it like, kind of managing both of those two things? Um,
so yeah, so basically, even when I told you about that, I'm a full-time student, like, and I'll be doing this job. So I think you were a bit skeptical about if I will be able to complete the work or not. You even asked me that how will you complete it, and I was like, yeah, let's see if I can handle the work. I'm sure that was because of the last editor.
Yeah, I
So
probably. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For anyone that is listening, we were also in a bad position. So I was like months behind on content that needed to be edited from the first editor, and then the second editor couldn't catch me up, so we got even more behind. And so like when we finally started working together, I was like super behind. So yeah, I was probably skeptical because yeah.
yeah. So the thing is that my university is actually uh, kind of my university life is really hectic. As much as I know, in USA, the credit hours are really less. While in compared to Pakistan, almost you have university whole day, like 9 to 5. So it
Hmm.
was a bit hard, but the thing is that on Friday I had next to no classes, and I submit work on Friday. So it was a really like tough journey, I'll say. I learned a lot of stress and time management skills, but I think I was able to deliver each and every week on time, right?
Yeah, pretty much every single week. I
Yeah.
know.
So
Yeah, there's been and then there's a couple weeks that where you were on time, where because I also gave you the content late. Because like there's some weeks where like
yeah,
I forgot to batch record content, and then I would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it today," and then it ended up being tomorrow, and then the next day, and then I would push back the content. But like, yeah, so you were managing the content. And so what was that like? Because as you said, not a lot of people are not as many people are in entrepreneurship. So what did the people, like your friends and the people around you, your parents or your family, like? Did they know that you were managing school and like a full time video editing gig? Like, what were they saying?
yeah. So basically, the thing is that as I'm wait, I should answer this. So everyone knows that I'm doing this job. All of my friends, almost, and my family, obviously, and even I'm like uh, managing my own expenses as well. So my father is right now super proud of me. Like a typical Asian father is like, you're studying and doing this job. So yeah, he's really proud
Yeah.
of me. But the thing is that, uh, so I told everyone that, like, I told my family that, I'll enter this job and let's see if how this goes. Alhamdulillah, it went really well. So a few of my friends even started video editing. They all knew how to edit videos. They also started like editing videos on Upwork and stuff. A few of them actually landed few clients. So I think this whole experience was life changing for me because I just went to a whole different city, and just my university life just started. I have been in my house my whole life, and suddenly I'm limitless. Like I don't have any boundaries around me, and I just like found this job which is helping me like buy almost everything I want, like like a laptop or a mobile. So it was really like great, I'll say. And if I was ever given an opportunity, I don't think I'll ever change anything, whatever happened. Although this whole editing, like 5 reels, 3 podcasts a week was a bit hard sometimes. I worked without sleep sometimes, but uh, it went well. So yeah, I'm glad.
So and you know, as I said, you know my story a bit because you edit my episodes. But like, I feel like when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of people don't understand like how hard you really have to work sometimes to get the goals that you want. Like, when I first got into when I was getting my real estate license, like a lot of people was like, "Oh, John, you got your license, congrats!" But they didn't know that I was working two jobs, doing almost 80 hours a week. Like not 80, like 70 hours a week. Almost 70 hours a week for my two jobs plus studying for my real estate exams to get my license and stuff like that. And so like a lot of people think that entrepreneurship, start a business is gonna be fun, it's gonna be easy. You're gonna you're your own boss. You get to work when you want. And a lot of people don't like understand like there's a lot of nights where it's like or a lot of days where you're just grinding the whole day. Right? A lot of days where like you're just working nonstop. A lot of times where you can't go to sleep because your mind is racing. Like I got stuff to do. I got this. I'm planning this. I got this upcoming. Like there's a lot of times, and it's not every single day where it's like that, but like there's some seasons in your life where it gets hard, it gets tough, but you got to keep pushing. So like as the semester went on, we started working together. We kept working together. Um, talk to you like what was it like managing your finals while also working? Because like going through the semester is like one thing, but like I remember I was in college for 3 semesters before I dropped out, and so I remember my first like semester. That was like the first like real experience of like finals week because that was before the pandemic. My second semester was the pandemic, so like that whole like school semester was so weird because the pandemic happened right in the middle, so like finals were super weird. But like that first semester, I really got a taste of like final week is like everyone is studying, everyone
Yeah,
is panicking, everyone's trying to get their grades up. So like, what was that like for you, man?
exactly. So the thing is, I actually lived in my university's dorm. So I am continuously 24/7 surrounded by university students who are going through this like final week panic. And like sometimes it gets really hard because engineering in itself has really like difficult courses. Like I remember there was this math like subject, and I was discussing this with a friend that there is this question. I don't know what it means. I know how to solve it. I don't know how the solution makes sense, but I know I am getting the right answer. So yeah, like that's it. So it gets really hard, and like subtracting the work. If I was just studying, I was like getting 3 hours of sleep a day, and I had back to back exams for like 5 to 6 days, and it was really hard. Even this in during these finals, I asked, like, I requested you that I'll submit you the work on Sunday, and then I'll submit the next week's work on Friday, so I can actually focus on my finals. Because I was not working, finals were not that hard because of the entrepreneurship and job. Mids were hard because I was working, and at the same time I was studying. And the thing is, in entrepreneurship and like freelancing, I cannot continue to like request for leaves. Like in 6 months, I have never asked for a leave instead of those finals. So you have to treat it with dignity that you can be replaced if you are not performing well, or if you are putting your personal life into work. That I don't feel well today, I cannot work. I have exams, I have a project, so I cannot work. You cannot say that, right? So you have to sacrifice your personal life and like your university life so that you can get work done.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But you also always been like upfront and asked in advance, like, hey, like, can I? And I think I'm very different than a lot of people when it comes to like work. Cause like for me, a lot of people like usually typically when they hire people on Fiverr or Upwork or online jobs or one of these websites, they usually pay for a project or they pay for per hour. And like for me, I don't care when you work or how you work or what you work, as long as the work gets done. Like, so I'm pretty lenient, laid back when it comes to
Yeah,
like how because I understand like you're in a whole different time zone. So like, why on earth would I make you work on my time zone? That's extremely. I personally think that's a dumb idea. Um, if you're gonna hire someone across
yeah,
the
exactly.
world, why on earth would you have them work on your time zone? It's never gonna match up. Either they're gonna be waking up in the middle of the night just to work with you, or you're gonna have to. It's weird. So yeah, I personally it's like, hey, listen. I know you have a life as well out there. Just make sure my work gets done at the end of the week. That's it. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that when you get it done, how you get it done, I don't care. Just get it done. Like that's always been like for me.
yeah. This attitude of yours really helped, because I used to do almost 50% of the work on Friday. Like I worked like 12 to 13 hours on Friday, and at the end of the day, I had the work. So I usually do this that start uploading, and I tell you that work is done, it's uploading,
Yeah.
and then I go to sleep. So this attitude of yours really helped. In fact, yeah, the time zone thing is really sometimes funny because what's the time there on your end?
My time right now, at the time like we're recording this right now, it's currently 3:24 p.m.
Yeah, and here it's 12, almost 12. Yeah, 12:24 a.m.
Wow, sheesh. So you're midnight over there.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's exactly my point. It's like if we were supposed to do that every single day, it would make like literally like no sense at all. No sense at all. And so like let me ask you, so all
exactly.
right, so now you finish your finals, right? You got through a full semester of us working together. And you also told me last time we talked, um, now you're making more money now than your professors, if I'm not mistaken, or some of them, right?
Yeah,
So what do your
yeah,
professors know that? Like
yeah.
what's that like? Do your friends know that you're making more money than them or no?
Some of the friends know that how much I earn, and actually the thing is, $1 is equal to like 280 Pakistani rupees.
Wow.
So if you like Pakistan, like I remember I read somewhere that Pakistan is the cheapest country to live in, and because I am earning in the like most uh, powerful currency,
Yeah.
it gives me the privilege that even although I'm like earning like a decent, like just a decent salary, here it is more than a lot of engineers even. Like for example, I uh, like finish my engineering degree, and hopefully I land a job somewhere. My starting salary will be half of what I'm earning right now doing the work.
Yeah. But by then, if you stay with me, you're gonna be making double, triple, quadruple what you make now. So who knows? You probably never need a job.
Don't worry, I'm not planning to
All
leave.
right. All right. So what is so? Let me ask you this. So what is like the average like monthly like live? How much would you need to live like a decent life out there in Pakistani rupees?
In Pakistani rupee, like a decent life, it actually depends upon like city you're living in.
Okay.
Because I am from a really like normal city, but my university is in the capital of Pakistan. So like the most expensive city of Pakistan. And I think, wait,
How
let me
much would
check
it cost for you to stay in a capital and move your family to the capital
how much will it take.
in rupees? In rupees.
In rupees, it will be like 400,000, and in dollars, it will be like close to 1,400 to
And that's per month?
$1,500. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
per
not
month.
bad.
That's for renting a home and like all the other
That's
expenditures,
not bad at all.
along with savings, along with like
Yeah, all right. So let
yeah,
me ask you this, because you still got 3 more years of school, right? So like you're making for someone that's living in college as a student, really good money out there. Like, what's your plans? Like, how are you managing your money? How are you like? What's your plans on like now? Because as you mentioned, now you're kind of like limitless a little bit. You don't really have any boundaries. Like, so like,
yeah.
what's your vision now? I'm sure it's probably changed, since you first got into college, and then once you found me, and then once you started working together. So like, what is going through your head now, and where do you want to go with all this stuff?
Exactly. So being limitless is sometimes really hard because uh like I never had the money to like experience this, and now that I have money, I always find myself thinking about wasting the money. Like for some reason it's really hard to save the money. So you're always like, yeah, okay, I just bought iPhone. Okay, now I want iPad. For whatever reason, you make up reasons, and then you're like, yeah, I don't want this thing. So it's really hard, but so I have saved a lot of money, but still, it's really hard to like counter your thoughts that like let's do this, let's do that. So I'll say I was never trained to have this much money at this age. So it's it's a bit hard
Okay,
for
and
me.
then so what are we gonna do to change that? Like, what are you doing to work on that so that you can start using your money smartly?
So the thing is, right now, I have saved some money, and I'm thinking about uh, buying gold from it, because I think it's really like crypto and all these things are really, I'll say, risky if it comes to savings. So all the, as I know, I won't be spending that money. I don't need that money. Like what I've saved, what I'm earning month on the monthly basis, I can spend and then like subtract out the savings part. So right now I'm thinking that I'll buy gold or something like that, which will increase in value
Yeah,
over time.
100%. Yeah, definitely. That's smart. And then let me ask you this question: what's it like, being 20 out there in Pakistan? And here in the United States, usually in your early 20s, your late teens, um, right? Sometimes into your mid 20s, a lot of people are like partying. They want to go out. They don't really know what they're doing with their life. And they probably have a good, a job and stuff like that, but you're constantly partying, partying, partying. What's it like out there? Like, what's the culture like being a young adult in Pakistan out there?
So the thing is, in Pakistan, you're not expected to do any job until like 23, after your degree, after your bachelor's. So having this job type thing is really out of the blue. Other than that, everyone is like, yeah, everyone is like doing the same things, partying and like trying to focus on their degree, trying to focus on their degree, and yeah, that's life here. Yeah, and there's also one thing that after their bachelor's, everyone wants to go out, like to any some other nation for masters. And this is a really like big trend nowadays here, because like everyone knows, earning is like just like you mentioned that my professors earn less than me because they are earning in Pakistani rupee. So salary in Pakistani rupee is really really less if you compare your services. So that's why everyone wants to go outside. This is the main trend
Yeah, no, that
nowadays.
makes sense. So now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Right? Why don't you start making money teaching other people how to make money as a video editor and start their video editing business as a separate source of income? Like, have you ever thought of you like creating a YouTube channel to teach other people how to start a business as a freelancer, how to get clients, how to edit videos? Like, have you ever thought of doing that?
No, but right now this idea just popped into my head. Like I had a few YouTube channels when I was young. Like some of them even had 100. No, they had like 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, they were like doing decent. But this teaching thing never like came into my mind. Although if there is a friend of mine or any other person who like asks me that how are you doing this, like and how can I start this, I always guide them and tell them about my experiences. But I might start this thing because I know how to edit videos, right? It's just like I have to start recording, say whatever comes to my mind, and yeah, that's it. So I might like pursue this thing
Yeah,
in
because
the
that could be
future.
a nice little thing where it's like you're making money as my video editor, but then you're making extra money teaching other people how to become video editors on the side, and that could become a little side hustle, a side hustle to the side hustle type of thing. And so,
Yeah,
all right, let me ask you. I want to
yeah.
talk about like in terms of like outside of business, right? Like, do you have anything that you really want to do, like travel the world or like learn how to play guitar or something like that? Like, do you have anything that you really want to do, like outside of business and outside of working,
Honestly, I'm really into hip hop music,
into hip hop music?
and it's been almost 3 yeah, and all this culture thing. I have been following this for years now, and I have been producing hip hop music like trap and boom bap for almost 3 years now. Like it was not something really serious, but I know for the majority of it that how to do it. So maybe I'll pursue that side in the future. Uh, I really find it fun when you like produce music and then your friends are
Yeah.
like, why do you do it? It's a really unreal feeling. So yeah,
Yeah, I got a
that's
couple
one thing.
friends who make music. So I went to the studio with my friends. Was it last week? We were there in the studio for like 8 hours. Like we were there for super long, but just having a good time. They were making music. We were all talking, catching up, having a good time. But yeah, like music is something that like connects people and brings people together, and it's really fun to listen to, especially when it's good music.
Yeah, for real. For real, like no one would have imagined that like people here in Pakistan are discussing that yo, Kendrick's for real, like burning up Drake and stuff like that. So like yeah, music is
Yeah, a
everywhere.
100%. It's like no matter where you go, every culture, like music will be something. Let me ask you one more question. Um, before we pivot, um, you said your dad is really proud of you, um, and what you got going on with your entrepreneurial stuff and your entrepreneurial endeavors. Would you ever like so here in the
Yeah.
States, sometimes people like retire their parents. Where like, let's say they make a lot of money and they, just they'll pay for their parents' house or something like that so that their parents don't have to work anymore. Would you ever do something like that? Do you have any aspirations to like once you like really make it to like start doing stuff like that?
Yeah, I'd really love to do it, but I think uh, he's like 2 years away from retirement itself, so I don't know if I can make it. But that is one thing I used to think as a as a kid that that would be like really good if I can tell my father one day that you don't have to like do job anymore. Like his job is really good. He's an engineer and he has been an engineer for all his life. Like he works at a power generating
Yeah.
power station, right? Even I also live in like that uh, power plants globally. So yeah, that is one thing that I'll love to do, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
can make it or not.
We'll see. Well, we had a lot can change in 1 year. Like we've only been together 6 months now, and look how far we got. So
Yeah,
who
for real.
knows where's it all gonna go? So as we start transitioning to the famous five questions, let's get right into it. Question number one is, what is the most impactful lesson you've learned in life so far?
The most impactful lesson I'll say is that if you want to do something, or if you think that something can work out, keep on doing it, regardless of what anyone says. Like whatever happens, looking back, you'll always be thankful for whatever happened. If you failed in something or if you succeeded in something, like looking back, everything sort of feels like, yeah, it was always going to
Amazing.
work out.
What is the most admirable trait a person can have?
Uh, I'll say ability to focus on his work, like on the long run, if he wants to be something, like he is like adjusting his timetables and plans according to that goal. Although he'll be working for that goal and he won't be seeing any fruit from it for like minimum 5 years, but he's still working at it. That hard work type of mindset is like really good, and I think everyone should try to adopt.
100%. All right. If you had to change someone's life but only had one book to recommend, which would it be? Or
Recommend.
or one podcast?
Uh, yeah, so one podcast, great. I'll say Marcus Aurelius's Meditation is that one book. I haven't read a lot of self-help books. I'm really into fiction, like fiction books, but that is one book that I read and I was really blown away
Yeah,
by.
that's stoicism, right?
On the podcast, I'll
That's
obviously say
very good.
Walk
That's
to
I
Wealth.
want to hear. I
Yeah,
want to
it's
hear. Uh, all right. All right. What is the legacy that you're working on leaving behind?
that I was a good person, and if I was honest with myself with my work, and if I could help someone, I always
And
did.
for anyone that wants to embark on their walk to wealth today, what is the first step that you recommend they take?
Start watching Walk to Wealth podcast. That's it.
Perfect. All right, Essen. A great time talking with you, catching up with you. So glad that you were able to hop on my podcast. You knew normally behind the scenes, but today we got to spotlight you. We got to showcase your story, your journey, how you got to here. And I'm looking forward to definitely having you on the podcast again in the future because we got to catch up with, we got to keep up with everyone and let them know like how your life is changing, how you're growing, and how everything is doing. Because you're only 20 years old, man. So like, regardless of what you may think about where you are in your journey, like there's not a lot of young people, regardless of whether it's the US, whether it's Pakistan, that are getting into entrepreneurship and doing things that could change their lives. So kudos to you for being young, being hungry, being ambitious, being driven, and just willing to go out there and try it out and test it out, see if it works. It just so happened that you found the right person at the right time and it's going well. But like kudos to you because as I said, there's not a lot of young people that are, super serious about doing something that's out of the ordinary. Everyone can get a job. Everyone can go work until they're 65. Starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur is a very different journey, and it can be very very difficult to stay in it long term. So kudos to you for getting into it, and excited to see how you grow and how you develop personally and professionally as well, man.
Thanks a lot for your kind wishes. And I'm really sorry for my English. That's not really good. But English is not my first language. So everyone who is listening to the podcast, I'm really sorry for my
No
bad
worries, your
English.
English is actually really good, surprisingly.